Well, dear twin flame adventurers, let's get real for a sec. You've heard the buzzwords: surrender, union, divine timing. But what happens on the other side of the cosmic coin when the divine feminine finally surrenders? What's going on with the divine masculine? It's not like he sends a memo saying, "Okay, I'm good now." It's way more nuanced. Surrender itself? It's a loaded term, right? It's not about giving up on love or your dreams. Nah, it's about something way more profound. Trusting the journey, releasing expectations, and choosing yourself fiercely. It's about getting to a place where you can hold space for your twin without needing anything in return. So, when you, the divine feminine, get to that point, what does he feel? Does he suddenly get his act together? Does he even notice? Does he run for the hills? Well, the truth is, it's a mixed bag of intense emotions and shifts. He might feel like the sensitive part of his spirit is in a comfortable embrace, feeling relief of feelings of insecurity and self-loathing. Or it might trigger a whole storm within him. We're talking relief, inspiration, maybe even a little fear. We're going to dive deep into the divine masculine's experience. Think of it as decoding a cosmic love letter, one feeling at a time. Ready to explore? Let's get started. Imagine the divine feminine, our leading lady in this cosmic dance, finally exhaling. I mean really exhaling, like she's been holding her breath for lifetimes. She's been untangling knots of self-doubt, silencing the inner critic that sounds suspiciously like her middle school gym teacher, and choosing moment by moment to stand in her own power. And you know what? That kind of profound shift doesn't happen in a vacuum. It radiates outward, a ripple effect in the universe. And the divine masculine? He's got a front row seat to this energetic show, whether he realizes it or not. Think of it like this. She's been a dimly lit lighthouse, flickering with uncertainty, and then, bam, she flips the switch, and suddenly, her beam shines bright, steady, and unwavering. Can you imagine the relief of ships at sea, finally able to find their way home? That newfound confidence and peace within the divine feminine acts as a beacon, cutting through the noise and chaos. And the divine masculine, he feels it, maybe not consciously at first. It might manifest as a subtle shift in his mood, a sense of lightness he can't quite explain, or a sudden urge to pursue something he's been putting off for ages. Or maybe he sees a change in the divine feminine. It's like he's been colorblind his whole life, and suddenly he can see all spectrums, understanding colors that he never knew existed. He senses that newfound self-assuredness, the quiet strength that emanates from her very being. It's not arrogance. It's a deep knowing, a trust in her own path. He sees her as more focused, clear, and less anxious. The weight of the world that she was carrying on her shoulders seems to have dissipated. She is full of the love of God. He knows that he has met the one, the woman that God wants him to be with. This shift isn't just about surface level changes. It's about a fundamental transformation in her energetic signature. It's about her aligning with her soul's purpose and finally giving herself permission to shine. She embodies her own truth and has been made whole once again. And that, my friends, is a powerful, irresistible force. Now, let's imagine the divine feminine really coming into her own. She's not just confident, she's alive. She's like a painter who's finally found her true colors, a musician who's composing her soul's melody, or a dancer who's moving with the rhythm of the universe. She's pursuing her passions, living her truth, and no longer dimming her light to fit into someone else's expectations. She is working on self-love and is ready to embrace her higher calling. And the divine masculine, he's watching, maybe from afar, maybe up close, but he's witnessing this transformation. And what does he feel? Inspiration. Pure, unadulterated inspiration. It's like he's been wandering through a desert, parched and weary, and suddenly he stumbles upon an oasis. Her passion becomes his inspiration, her strength becomes his motivation, and her authenticity becomes a mirror reflecting his own potential. The sight of the divine feminine standing in her power awakens a feeling of hope that he may be able to heal his wounds. He feels proud, not in a possessive way, but in a deeply admiring way. It's the kind of pride a parent feels watching their child achieve something extraordinary, or a mentor feels seeing their mentee surpass their expectations. He recognizes the immense effort it took for her to get there, the battles she fought, and the demons she conquered. And he can't help but feel a surge of admiration for her resilience and unwavering spirit. Think of it like this. She's not just existing, she's creating. She's not just surviving, she's thriving. And that energy is contagious. It sparks something within him, a desire to step up his own game, to pursue his own dreams, and to live a life that's equally authentic and fulfilling. He may be inspired to open up emotionally, practice assertive communication, show more empathy, or take responsibility for his actions. It's like she's given him permission to be his best self, to unleash his own potential, and to embrace his own unique gifts. And that, my dears, is a powerful catalyst for transformation. He can feel her happiness and may become excited and relieved. Okay, here's where the twin flame journey gets really interesting and maybe a little bit spooky. Think of the twin flame connection as a cosmic hall of mirrors. Each twin reflects the other's soul, their wounds, their potential, and yes, their shifts. So, when the divine feminine makes a significant change, it's not just her journey anymore. It creates a ripple effect, a mirroring in the divine masculine's life. It's like they're connected by an invisible thread, and when one pulls, the other feels it, sometimes in very unexpected ways. Let's say the divine feminine decides to finally confront a deep-seated fear of abandonment. As she does the inner work, the divine masculine might suddenly find himself in situations that force him to confront his own issues with commitment or vulnerability. It's not a direct, linear translation, but a parallel experience, a different facet of the same core wound. They're learning parallel lessons, even if they're physically apart. It's like they are both enrolled in the same class, but in different locations. As she evolves, so does he, albeit in different manifestations. They mirror each other's wounds and insecurities, which challenges them to do better. And here's the kicker. Often, Neither twin is consciously aware of this mirroring at first. The divine masculine might not even realize why he's suddenly feeling compelled to make certain changes or confront certain issues. He just knows that something feels different, that he's being pulled in a new direction. He is battling the toxic male and patriarchal male. It might even manifest as a spiritual awakening, a sudden urge to connect with something larger than himself. The point is, these shifts are rarely coincidental. They're part of the intricate dance of the twin flame journey, a testament to the profound connection between these two souls. It's a cosmic dance where each partner's growth influences the other. You can't reject them because it is an illusion. As the divine feminine rises up and becomes stronger, the divine masculine will gain a sense of self-worth and power again. So, if you're on this journey, pay attention to what's happening in your twin's life, even if you're not in direct contact. Notice the patterns, the challenges, and the changes. It might just offer valuable insights into your own path and the lessons you're meant to learn. They are mirrors of divine masculine and feminine balance, reflecting love in its purest form. Imagine the divine feminine has been sending out signals like a persistent, high-pitched frequency that only the divine masculine can hear. Even if he's consciously ignoring it, his subconscious is picking up on it, creating a low-level hum of pressure. It might be her constant need for reassurance, her anxious energy about the relationship, or her relentless pursuit of him. Now, picture her finally turning off the dial. She stops chasing. She embraces self-love and focuses on her ascension. What does the divine masculine feel? Relief. A wave of it washes over him. It's like the pressure valve has been released. He can finally breathe. The constant, albeit often unconscious, demand on his energy has ceased. He feels peace and can think more clearly. He gets clarity. When the divine feminine shifts her focus inward, it allows the divine masculine to see the connection and himself with greater objectivity. It's as if she stopped holding up a distorted mirror, and he can finally see his own reflection clearly. He understands what he wants. With this new feeling, he will not feel anxious or have as much self-loathing. Maybe he realizes that he does want to be with her, but he needed space to come to that conclusion on his own. Maybe he realizes that he's not ready for a relationship, but he can appreciate her from a distance. Or maybe, just maybe, he realizes that the connection was never what he thought it was, and he's free to move on without guilt or obligation. With that said, he also may be relieved of the feelings of the divine feminine being hurt. The relief and clarity aren't just about the divine feminine releasing him. It's about her releasing herself. As she steps into her power and stops seeking external validation, he's freed from the burden of having to be her everything. The best thing he can do is love himself, and from that place, love her as well. This has to happen at a divine time, and as we know, the divine timing works in magical ways. When we do not anticipate the coming of something miraculous, when we have surrendered our desires and dreams to the divine, God takes a notice. It's like they both have been trapped under a glass dome. Now the glass is lifted and they can connect with each other at any level they want. He is free to surrender to love because the moment you surrender to love and allow it to lead you to exactly where your soul wants to go, you will have no difficulty. In surrender, you realize you're not in control, and that's the most powerful position you can be in. Imagine the divine masculine is like a volcano. For years, maybe even decades, he's been taught to suppress his emotions, to bury them deep down inside. He's been told that real men don't cry, that vulnerability is weakness, and that feelings are best left unexpressed. He has wounds and traumas from his past experiences that he has suppressed or never fully healed. Now, the divine feminine surrenders. The energetic dam breaks, and a torrent of long repressed emotions comes flooding to the surface. The divine feminine, embodying surrender, acceptance, and trust, may help the divine masculine feel safe enough to express his feelings. It's not a gentle stream, it's a raging river of raw, unfiltered feelings that can overwhelm him. He will be very emotional and burst with energy. He's not sure what is happening. These feelings can be expressed in creative and aggressive ways. He can have trouble expressing his feelings and struggles with being emotional. The divine masculine is dealing with equally strong emotions that might be surprising. He may feel relieved. After all, he will be relieved that he will not feel insecure anymore. He will also likely feel fear. It is an intense experience that leaves him changed. This is because he is not used to dealing with so many feelings. The divine masculine has difficulty opening up because past hurt has caused him to put his guard up. It's important to remember that the divine masculine's emotional experience is unique to him. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but what's almost certain is that he will feel something, and it will likely be intense. It is also possible that the divine masculine feels drawn to the divine feminine. This can manifest as dreams, telepathic communication, or an increased longing. He may also remember everything about her and replay their journey in his head. He will begin to realize that he is risking losing her forever, causing him great fear and pain. He might be angry and hate himself for how he has treated her. Despite this, it will give him the courage to contact her. He will want to show her how he feels and will be willing to commit to her. So, if you're witnessing this in your divine masculine, be patient, be compassionate, and hold space for him to process his emotions in his own way. Encourage him to seek healthy outlets for his feelings, whether it's through therapy, art, exercise, or simply talking to a trusted friend. Help him embrace his vulnerability and find his divine truth. With the proper tools, he can have increasing self-worth. In the end, he will want the divine feminine and choose her at the core. There is no one else for him other than her. With this support, he will not need outside confirmation that he is enough. Remember, it's in those messy, uncomfortable emotions that true healing and transformation occur. So, what's the real deal when the divine feminine surrenders? Well, it's less about waving a white flag and more about a deep, soul-level realignment. It's about the divine feminine finally choosing herself, and honestly, what could be more powerful than that? This shift doesn't just impact her, It sends shockwaves through the divine masculine, triggering a cascade of emotions and realizations. He might feel an intense sense of relief, like a weight has been lifted, or clarity, like a fog has finally cleared. He sees her confidence and inner peace, feels inspired by her dedication to her passions, and begins to mirror her growth, learning parallel lessons even when they're apart. But let's keep it real. It's not all sunshine. He might grapple with fear, insecurity, or even a need to express himself in new ways. And you know what? That's okay. The twin flame journey isn't a perfectly curated Instagram feed. It's messy, raw, and transformative. It's about two souls pushing each other to evolve, even when it's uncomfortable. Ultimately, the divine masculine's experience hinges on whether he's ready to step up. If he is, he'll feel that surge of energy, that call to lead and provide, ready to take on the world alongside his divine feminine. If he's not quite there yet, well, her surrender might just be the catalyst he needs to confront his own wounds and start growing. Either way, it's a turning point, a moment where both twins are nudged closer to their true potential. Keep trusting the journey, keep loving fiercely, and remember that surrender isn't the end. It's the beginning of something truly extraordinary.